Hi, I am Anne and welcome back to my channel, and it is currently nearly 4 a.m. I sound horrible. My throat is so scraggly. So yesterday I decided I wanted to do a 24-hour readathon today. And my plan was to start at 7 a.m. and then finish at 7 a.m. the previous morning, but I woke up at like 3:45 this morning, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just start at 4, and then I only have to stay up till 4 the next morning. So, yeah. So I just literally rolled out of bed like 2 minutes ago. I'm going to get dressed, and then start reading. My goal, by the way, is to read all these books. So I have 6 books here, and they total up to about 2,000 pages. Also, because I'm doing this a little bit more informal, I'm not using my microphone, and I'm also not using my ring light, so the lighting is going to be pretty bad and the sound quality will be pretty bad. But this is going to be more of a casual video, so this is my first time attempting a vlog, so wish me luck.
A few moments later.
Okay, I am slightly more awake now, mostly, and I'm going to be starting my first read, which is Anne McCaffrey's Dragonfly. I have a cute little sitting area with my heater, which you can probably hear. Sitting area, I have some candles, I have some sugar here, Dove dark chocolate peppermint, which is delicious, and some candy canes. And you know, the festive season. I also have these lovely leggings with penguin socks. I look like an absolute mess. I just realized that. Oh, but that's fine. I'm gonna go start reading now. So it is currently about 5 a.m. so I've been doing this about an hour, and I've gotten 100 pages into this, so I'm about a third of the way done, which is a pretty good rate because if I continue with this speed, I will have completed all the books in 20 hours, which is pretty good, but we'll see if I can like keep up with that because I'll have to take breaks. I should probably do like kind of mini reviews as I'm reading, but this book is set in a world where a lot of the dragons have been kind of killed. There are like bonds that are made between like dragons and humans. I just realized my like camera is having trouble focusing, so if it like looks horrible, I'm sorry. But so far we've followed kind of 2 characters. Lessa, who is this woman who all she wants is to kill this lord that she serves and get back her birthright to get one of the holds where like dragons live. And the other character is Flar, and he is a dragon rider who comes and ends up killing her, I don't know, hirer, and telling her, yeah, you're wasted at this hold because you are actually a werewoman or something. So pretty much she is like a dragon rider type thing, so that's where like Dragonflight comes in, and so he takes her away from that place, and that's where we are now. So yes, I assume she'll like get a dragon. There's also like this prophecy of this star, so interesting. But I will get back to you guys when I make progress. I'm probably gonna take like a short break and get some like tea right now because I am really hungry. So, yeah. Okay, I am back and I have tea and sustenance. I'm drinking out of my Ravenclaw mug because it seems fitting, you know, Ravenclaw, studious reading, stuff like that. And I am drinking cinnamon spice tea. Now, I go back to reading. Hi guys, I just finished Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey. I'm thinking of giving it like 4 stars. I loved it. It is currently only 6, which means in the last like hour, I literally read like almost, 200 pages. I read 200 pages in an hour. I was really into this book. It's great. There was more romance than I was expecting between Fleur and Lessa, but yeah, it's a very good, like, feel-good fantasy. It doesn't go like super in depth into the world, but it's also just the first book. And I love the characters. Just everything was great. The next book I'm going to be starting now is Lady Clementine by Marie Benedict. I got this book from my boyfriend for my birthday, and for reference, my birthday is in January. So I got this book almost a full year ago. I will update you when I have more reading done. I'm feeling a little bit like groggy and tired, but I mean, considering I woke up at like 3:45 this morning and like my first update was kind of delirious, I think I'm doing great, mostly. Alright, I am back for a quick update, and I am a third of the way through this book right now, Lady Clementine. I'm absolutely loving it. If it continues in the way it is, it's at least a 4-star for me, possibly a 5-star depending on how it goes. I also realize that I didn't even mention what it was about at all when I like talked about it. Here's the dust cover. Just the dust cover. So this book follows Clementine Churchill, the wife of Winston Churchill. So the book starts in 1906 when they got married, and I believe it goes to the end of World War II. So if you didn't know, Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of England during World War II. A lot of people say without him, we probably would have lost World War II, so yes, he was very important, and it's really cool. Like, I'm loving how we see from her perspective, because on one hand, she's a very strong, independent woman, but it's also interesting to see how much she supports her husband, because his political career kind of encompasses a lot of things. Like, she's alone giving birth to one of their children because he's too busy in politics. And while I can understand that, like, I can also see how painful that would be for her, like, to have a husband and not have him be able to be there for the birth of your child because he's just too busy with work. So it is 6:46 right now, which means I may finish early. And if I finish all my books early, I think I'm just going to like not add more books and just like go to bed at a semi-decent time. But we'll see. I'll probably read for another like hour till almost 8, and then I will go get some breakfast and some coffee. And yes, so I'm kind of hoping to get this done before breakfast because it is going quite quick, and I have an hour and 15 minutes, but it may not be quite enough. I don't know. So far, this is a really fun challenge because both books I've read so far are at least like 4 stars for me, which is great. We'll see if that continues with all the other books I have, and checking back with you soon. So it is currently 7:40, and I have just finished Lady Clementine. Again, I am ahead of schedule, which is kind of like bizarre to me because here I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna stay up super late tonight, and I have a feeling like I'm gonna finish all of these by like dinner. I'm gonna give this a 5-star. I loved this book, and it's definitely like slow moving if you're expecting like more of a, I guess, action-packed historical novel, because it is set around like World War I, World War II, but it's from more of like her perspective. And I love how like throughout history we usually think of like Churchill standing on his own, and yet to see like how Clementine supported him and wrote things for him and advised him in political decisions. Like, it's clear that he was not alone. So I don't know, I loved like reading this book. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to have some coffee, some breakfast, and then I'm going to come back invigorated. I think I'm going to read Blood Letters, the untold story of Lin Zhao, A Martyr in Mao's China by Lian Xi. So I don't know anything about this. I got it from book outlets early this year. Yeah, I'm going to read this next. It's nonfiction. It's probably going to be a little bit more serious, but Lady Clementine, even though it was serious, it wasn't like overpoweringly serious. So that's why I want to like do this next, and then I'll go on to like a lighter one. I don't know. I have kind of a lot of dark ones, so we'll see. But yes, I'm going to take a short break, and then I will be back to reading. Okay, so I just finished eating, and now I'm going to go ahead and get back to reading, but I think I'm going to move into my living room, and yeah, I'm going to read Blood Letters, and yes. Okay, so another update. It is currently 9:50, so yes, I've been doing this challenge now for about 6 hours. I almost feel like I should change the challenge to read 6 books or like 2,000 pages in 12 hours, because I feel like that's what I'm going to end up doing. But so I finished Blood Letters, and it was amazing, but really serious and sobering. The reason it is called Blood Letters is because when Lin Zhao was in prison, she would prick her finger to get like blood to use as ink in her pen to write while she was in prison. She was in prison for 7 years before she was executed, from like 1960 something to 1968. So the book kind of takes place from like the 1930s when she was born all the way up to her death. It was exceptionally written, nonfiction obviously, so it's pretty dense with historical details. It's kind of not so much a narrative, but it is set in like chronological order. So the next book, the 4th book I'm going to be reading, is Homegoing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation of this name. You know what? I'm just not going to try to pronounce it. The copy I got from the Goodwill actually is signed by the author. And I don't know much about it besides that, but it has, what do you call these? Deckled edges? Those are very cool. Yeah, so that is the next one I'm going to be reading. And yeah, I feel like my updates have been a little bit more sparse, because this morning I was like film, and now I'm just like I just want to read. Also, for my bookmark, if anyone's curious, I'm using extra white. This is like a color sample that you get from Lowe's when you're like, oh, I want to paint my room. This is my bookmark for the day. So yes, I use everything as bookmarks. So yeah, I will update you when more things are happening. Okay, welcome back, guys. It is currently 10:53, which means it's been like an hour since I talked to you, and I've already finished Homegoing. Had mixed feelings about this book. So it follows these 2 sisters, and they're both from Ghana, Africa, but they get separated in the 1700s, and well, they don't know each other existed ever, I don't think. Yeah. And one gets taken as a slave to America, the other one stays in Africa, and the book follows each of their generations, kind of successively following them. And I'll insert, like, there is a timeline or like a family tree at the beginning of the book that kind of is a cheat sheet, and I use that throughout the book to figure it out. So the things I loved about it is just the changing times and experiencing different, like, Black immigrants' experience and slaves' experience from, like, the 1700s all the way to the modern era. I also like, this is a spoiler alert, so I'm going to put my hand up as long as I will be spoiling things. At the end of the book, the, like, great-great-great-great-granddaughter of one of the sisters meets and befriends the great-great-great-great-great-grandson of the other sister, and that's how the book ends. I loved the conclusion of the book, and I loved, like, seeing how lives of, like, African people, both in Africa and, like, in America, shifted as times shifted, and what kind of sufferings they had to go through that time. So I liked the idea and the premise, but here's the thing. Each chapter goes back and forth from the generation. So, like, the first chapter is one of the sisters' perspective. The second chapter is the second sister's perspective. The third chapter is the first sister's son. Yeah, son's perspective. And then the next chapter is the other sister's daughter's perspective, and so on and so forth. And it kind of felt really disjointed because we're introduced to these set of characters from the lives of these people, but we only spend a chapter with them, and then we go on to the next chapter and we're kind of introduced to a whole set of people. Like, you may see the, like, mother or the father of that person briefly, but, like, for the most part, we just keep, like, jumping from generation to generation. Jumping from character to character made me feel like I couldn't relate to any of these characters, because we would, like, start getting to know a character and I'd be like, oh, this character is interesting, and then we just jump to another character in the next chapter, and it was kind of frustrating. I think I'm going to give this a 3-star because I love the idea. I thought the ending came together quite well. Detailed historical stuff was interesting, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed about the, like, jumping from character to character. I am going to read a little bit more, but then I'm going to stop for lunch. My mother is cooking her amazing chili, her vegetarian chili that we have quite a lot, and I absolutely love it. The next book I'm going to be reading is White Fang by Jack London. So this is actually a book that seems to be for relatively young people. I mean, young readers, I should say, because the font is quite big. So even though this is almost 350 pages, but because of the big writing, I assume I'll get through it quick, especially since I literally have, like, I have 5 hours to just finish 2 books. I'm definitely going to keep this just as a 12-hour challenge, because I'm like, with how quickly I'm reading all these books, I do not need a, like, 24-hour challenge. I could definitely read, like, 12 books in 24 hours, and my brain would probably be fried, because my brain is already feeling a little fried. So yeah, and I will check back with you when I have, like, news. I think I'm gonna, like, read for a little bit in my room. So yeah, I've been doing a really bad job, like, filming myself reading, but I will work better and harder on that. So yes, check back with you soon. Okay, quick update. It is currently 11:45, so it's almost like noon. Ooh, I'm too tall. So I am 180 pages into White Fang, which is about halfway done. I only have one book left, so I'm going to go ahead and take like a half hour to an hour break just to like eat lunch and to rest a little bit. And then I will come back like more reinvigorated. I still have like 4 hours to complete 2 books. With White Fang, it's a really relatively light read. It is brutal for being such like an easy, digestible, almost like middle grade type book. But boy, does it not shy away from like animal abuse and like how brutal it is in like Alaska and Canada. And yes, so it is very reminiscent of the Call of the Wild. That one followed a like Saint Bernard who was stolen from his family in San Francisco and taken up to Alaska to be a sledding dog in like the gold rush that was going on up there. Oop, there's my laundry. Whereas this one is about like a half wolf, half dog mix who right now he's with some Indians. I mean, they're called Indians. They're the native people who like lived up there at the time, and his mother was owned by the Indians. And if you are sensitive about like animal abuse, just mostly avoid Jack London in general, even though I love his writing, so I want to recommend it to everyone. But yeah, it's brutal when it comes to animal abuse. Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm not feeling tired, but it also hasn't been that long, and I had coffee a couple hours ago. So we'll see how I am at like 4 o'clock. But yes, I definitely will have enough time to finish these 2 books. I will continue reading after lunch, so we'll just like flash forward to probably after I finish this book, I will update you guys again. So see you soon. Okay. Hi guys, I am back. It is 12:30 and I just had lunch and came back and I read a little bit more of this, about just 40 pages. I'm feeling a little bit of like reading burnout, so I have my laptop up here and I'm going to listen to some ambiance because ambiance always makes me like feel better. So I have some like Christmas ambiance going. And I'm definitely going to finish White Fang, but I will say, compared to the Call of the Wild, I'm not a huge fan of White Fang. It's not bad. I think I'm going to end up giving it 3 stars, but the middle is kind of boring. There's not as much interest for me there. I love the beginning, but the middle is just kind of meh. Okay, quick update. It is just past 1 and I was just like a sobbing mess a few minutes ago, so if I sound like a little stuffy, it's because, yeah, I was sobbing over the end of White Fang. It's a happy ending, okay, for the record, but I thought it wasn't gonna be because it was a little rocky at the end there. So, in the end, I think I'm going to give this 3 stars. Here's the thing. Call of the Wild, and I checked because I was curious, came out 3 years before this book. But this book is kind of a repeat of Call of the Wild, except it kind of parallels it in an opposite way. So this one starts off in the wild. Oh, also spoilers for the ending of this and Call of the Wild, as long as I keep my hand up. This one starts off with him in the wild, and in the end it ends up with him with a happy family in California. Call of the Wild starts off with Buck with a happy family in California and ends with him in the wild. So it's kind of like the opposite. I liked the beginning and I liked the last like 50 pages. I was super into it. But the like middle part was kind of boring to me because it was kind of like reading the same repeat of Call of the Wild. So the next book I'm going to be reading and you are on top of right now, so I'll put it over here. That is City of Devils. So yeah, Paul French also wrote, as it says here, Midnight in Peking. Peking, which is about a like English woman who is murdered. It's right before Japan is about to attack China, so yeah. So that to read. It also has some pictures, so I have that to look forward to. Besides that, I'm just gonna continue on reading, and yeah, we're almost done. Okay, quick update. It is currently 2, and I am almost halfway done with this book. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm so tired, so I'm going to make myself a cup of hot chocolate. Okay, I am back. I have my lovely cup of hot chocolate, and I only have like 150, I think it's more like 160 pages left to do. City of Devils. I'm really enjoying this book, though I will say it's always a red flag when like a nonfiction history book does not have any like footnotes, endnotes, any type of references. So in the end, he has like a short like glossary of like meanings of words, and then he also has index, and then like a short acknowledgement where he does mention like some of the sources that he looked through, but they're not very detailed. So I don't know, that's like a red flag for me when it comes to like historical nonfiction, because if you are doing like heavy analysis of a topic, you should be able to use sources. So that's kind of a pet peeve for me, because I'm like, I would love to see where he got his sources. But yeah, besides that, it's an engaging enough novel. I really like the like tiny details about Shanghai during that time, but yes, not much to say. I will get back to reading. I'm in the home stretch. I did it. Okay, so I finished the City of Devils, and yes, I stand by. I don't have any new thoughts about it, but I am done with my challenge. So it is currently 2:30. I'm gonna say, like, this was actually a challenge that took about 10 hours, 10 and a half hours if you're thinking of it. So it didn't even take 12 hours. It was literally like 6 books in 10 and a half hours, which is mind-boggling to me. So I read a total of 6 books. There. Ranging from 299 pages to 343 pages. The total number of pages I read was 1,903, so about 2,000 pages. So yes, that is pretty impressive. So, what have we learned? Oh, you probably can't see my eyes because of the glare of my glasses. I really enjoyed doing this challenge. It was definitely a high intensity challenge, but right now I am between semesters, so I'm kind of on winter break. So I don't have that much to do on like a daily basis, which was why I decided to do this 24-hour challenge as it was, which did not turn into 24 hours, which is probably a good thing because that means I can get to bed at a reasonable time. I really enjoyed this challenge. It pushed me to read books that I own. One of my problems is I'll buy books and I'll be like really excited to read them, but then I'll get books from the library and I'll say, well, the books I own permanently, whereas the books from the library I only have for like 21 days, so I should like prioritize them, and just the cycle repeats, so I like never read the books I actually buy. So that is one reason I was so happy to do this challenge. I'm really happy with how today went. I'm sure that the like audio quality will be horrible because this camera has really bad audio quality, but I also know like quality of the film is pretty good, but it also does really bad in low lights, which is why like this morning, I'm sure when I go back and edit the footage from this morning, it will look extremely bad because yeah, I'm sure it'll have like fuzzy background and the light will be too orange. So right now, because the sun is up and I'm sitting in front of a window and I also have the light behind me, there's like more light. And I'm going to go binge YouTube and edit this video and probably take a very long nap. So thank you for watching. If you stuck with this video for this long, thank you so much. And comment to me how crazy you think I am, or if you've read any of these books or are interested in reading any of these books. Let me just know your thoughts in general. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this and click the bell notification if you'd like to be notified as to when I post a video. I post every Saturday at 6 p.m. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye!